on this computer. All right, I'm recording now, and let's go ahead and share the screen. There we are. That's a good picture. Okay, so what I want to talk about today is last week we had got a lot of people who were helped by going over some of the questions from the exercises, and I'm going to do the same today, and then I will open the floor to questions about your projects if anyone's doing it, and then I will call it a day. Okay, so this week is the case statements that we talked about a couple weeks ago. So we went over that code back then, so you're using it today. So there were 3 questions I want to go over real quick. 2 were very similar to the one I presented to you guys on how to use case statements in a select query to get counts off of them. And the other one is this just silly one that there's a ton of ways to do, and there's just no good way to do them. But I understand why the question was written, so I never overwrite it. So the first question here is write a query that returns the alphabetized first letter of customer's last name and the count of active and inactive customers. Limit the results to only those first letters. Is there more to that than that? First letters that occur in the last name column of the customer table. Label the columns as follows. Starts with is the first column and the first letter of the customer last name. Active count is the number of the second column and the count of active customers as defined in text, for example, chapter 11. Inactive, the third column. So if we look at, first of all, let's look at the customer table here. If I spelled that right, it'd be even better. Can't blame that on my mouse. Customer. There we are. Whew, that took a while. All right, so we see we've got the last name field, we've got an active field here. That's the two we want to do this on, right? So we've got select, left, last name. So what this left does, it just clears all spaces out from the left side of the string. So left, last name, comma 1. So you're just taking the first character of the last name. You're calling it initials. Then you're getting the sum, and you're doing case when active equals 1, then 1 else 0. So what this is saying is every time this column has a 1 in it, put this and get the sum of how many times that happens. And then when it doesn't have a 1 in it, get the 0 and count how many times that happens. And then we're going to group by last name, first letter, because we have to always put the non-aggregated column in the group by when we're doing an aggregate. These are aggregates. So this is the non-aggregate column. And then we order by the same thing. So when we run this, any last name, the letter A has 19 active, 1 active. B has 55 active, 0 inactive. Next one, and this is the same thing, except it has one change, and that is where the count of active customers is greater than 30. That's the only difference. It's the exact same query, except for that caveat. And remember, we talked about it. When we are using a aggregate, we can't use the where column, the where command. We have to use having. So here it's the exact same query. All I did was add this column, having active count greater than 30. When we use an aggregate like this, we cannot use where, because we wanted to get the number. We want to put a qualifier on the aggregate. Where doesn't work. We have to do having active count greater than 30, because this measures the aggregate. So here we're going to run this, and it's going to give us the same thing. It's just going to give us anything that's over 30. Everyone follow? You good, Davis? You good, Cade?
Yeah, it seems fairly simple.
The last one. Write a query that returns the alphabetized list of first letters of customers' last names and the count of active and inactive customers. Do not limit the results to only those first letters that occur in the last name column of the customer table, but return the results that include any missing letter from the dataset. Hint, you will need to fabricate a table composed of 26 letters of the alphabet and use an outer join to resolve this problem. So there are a couple ways to do this. This command that I used is one that you guys don't know, but feel free to use it in your answer. We've talked about creating tables, right? You can create a temporary table. And a temporary table is something that only exists in RAM, and that when your query window closes, it goes away forever and is never there again. So here, we're creating a temporary table called ABE. And in there, we're doing all these select statements. So this creates a temporary table. Okay. So if I just ran that part there, I would get a table that had all the letters of the alphabet in it. Once I've done that, it becomes very simple. I just go here, select A from ABE, and do my counts from customer, and I'm joining it. I'm doing a right join. Let me show you this right here. I got the right results. Oh, I forgot. Okay. Sorry. Once you run this, it's there until you close the window. So that table ABE there, once you do this create temporary table with all this stuff in it, it's there until you close the window. It stays in memory. So here, when let me just run this, make sure this is going right. This is one of my A, B, C, D, F, G, H, I, J, K. Yeah, so select AB dot the column A, doing a count, an active count from customer, right join ABE. Remember, the right join is the table that's on this side. So I'm joining this to this on, and this is the right join, which means anything that's in this table will show up, and anything that's here, that's if anything that's here that's not there, it'll show up as a null. But here, since we've got the case thing going on here, it's going to show up as a 0. So when I have Z, it's 0, 0, X, it's 0, 0, U, it's 0, 0. Okay. So Kate asked a question before, you just had to write some kind of query to create a table. You could have done a temporary table, a permanent table, a CD, which is a common table expression. Any of those would have worked. But the only way to write this query the correct way is to create a table.
Okay.
Okay.
That's your ABE dot A. That is.
So this is the table. The temporary table I named created is called AB.
Yeah.
And then the first column is called A because it's the first.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So if I did select star from ABE, that's the column name there.
Okay. Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It should
Yeah.
be all good.
That's the weirdest. I think we're done with weird questions from this point on. Because I'll have to double check, but I'm pretty sure the next 3 weeks there's no real code that's written.
Okay.
Because let me see something real quick. Let me stop sharing. Let me bring up that was my, you don't need to see my Amazon page. Let me see here. So go to modules. Let's see. Let's take a quick look together to see what the next few weeks hold. Because if memory serves, let's see, going down here. So week 11. What's the quiz? That's not what I wanted. One of the exercises. Exercises, yes. Edit. Questions. Oh, so these are oh, okay. Yeah. Transaction table. Generally, you work $50 from accounts to accounts. Yeah, I take that back. These are insert and update statements that go on here. Yeah, we'll go over these next week. I'll go over these. And then week 12. That's week 13. What's week 13 got? What are you doing week 13? Let's see. Oh, this is just the quiz. Views can store aggregated data columns only when the constructing query column uses column aliases. That is a correct statement. A view can obfuscate part of a oh. This is the views view. This is you. Okay. True. Like tables, views are not involved. True. Views are useful when you want to join partition tables. False. You cannot join a table in a view. Oh, that's a trap. You can join a table in a view. I'm sorry. I'm going off. I'm digressing. Anyway. So
keep going if you give us all of them. I might just remember.
No, there you go. You got the first 5 out of the 8. You'll be fine. All right. So I'll go through them again, but views are fun. Yeah, you'd have code next week to write a little on the complicated side, but you'll be fine. Okay, so any questions on week 10 stuff? These are literally the answers for these exercises. So I have no problem giving them to you because they're in the back of your book. This one isn't. This one someone came up with on their own, but that's okay. That doesn't need to be there. Any questions on anything so far? Okay. Does anyone have any questions about their projects that they want, about anything else? Projects, final exams, anything you guys want to talk about?
I was wondering if we could take a look at my ERD and just see if it looks good. I implemented some of the changes you sent me in your video, but I was wondering.
I've enabled you to share screens, so go ahead and share if you want.
Okay. I think I have it pulled up. Let me get out of.
Hey, Talina.
Okay, there's that.
Hello.
You cannot start screen share while the other participant is
sharing. Sorry. There you go. I am not sharing anymore.
All right, you see that?
Not yet. There we are. Okay, let's see what we got here. Book, title, word count, page count, difficulty, genre. Yup, got that good. Series, book, series, genre. Okay, so I see what you do. Okay. Yeah, that'll work fine. You wouldn't need book genre here because you're going to get it from this table here, since these are connected. So you don't have to have book genre ID in this table. No, I think it went here by accident.
Right. Yeah, so it kind of auto-filled that into there. I was wondering about that.
Yeah, that doesn't need to be there. Okay.
There we go.
The series has book. Yes, that's very good. Book has reviews. Yes, that's good. Reviews, customer sales. Okay. Yep, that's good. Sales go to book author. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you implemented. You got the change I've told you to put in there, so that works. Yeah,
Okay.
it is. It is good.
Are there any parts that are just I don't need or are too complicated? Because I do have 10 now, I believe.
That's fine.
But
You could, I mean, if you wanted to, if you wanted to bring down the count, you could get rid of genre, but that's the only one you could actually get rid of because
okay,
everything has to be, everything's linked here.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you got the cut, you got, actually, it's a real nice, it's got a real nice flow to it. You can see how it flows.
Thank you. Yeah, I was just kind of like putting it all together, just how I could figure,
Hmm?
you know,
No,
I
that's
figured
right.
customers go to sales and reviews probably.
Yep. You just have to,
So
you just have to follow the flow because, you know, when the reviews go to the books, not to the book author, and the authors go to that, and because one book might have a couple of authors, you want this. You don't need the sales ID here. That got carried over. That doesn't need to be there. Oh, I see why.
in
Just
here.
oh, I see why. The join went the wrong way.
Oh, this should be reversed.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why that was that way.
Fine. This like that.
Yeah, there you go. But
Oh,
it's
no.
got no it brings off over all the foreign key stuff, so you can.
Okay, so I probably don't need any of these author ones.
Right. Well, because here, if you look at
Wow.
the book author table, the ID column is probably what you meant to be the primary key, but you've got book ID and author ID are your primary keys, so you need to go and change that around. That's why I brought everything over.
This here.
Yeah, so uncheck book ID and from the primary key. No, don't delete it. Just no. Keep that keep ID. Yeah. Keep ID primary key. And then
Okay.
uncheck book ID and author ID is your primary key.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, those are. Yep.
And
Hey,
that
Emery.
fix itself.
Yep. And then you just need to delete those columns. But make sure that
Okay.
ID column's there over there. You might want to just delete the foreign key altogether and recreate it, and then it should just bring the ID column over.
Okay.
But yeah, no, this yep. This has the much better flow.
Okay, good.
Although you're pretty cruel that your view can only be 100 characters.
Is that
It was good. It was a good read. It had many pages. Me like. You probably want to use
I
that
guess that's
text field. You probably
Oh,
want to use
that
it.
is characters, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's
yeah, it's
true.
under characters. Yeah.
For some reason, I always, whenever I do school stuff or writing my own stuff, I always am thinking in words. So I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
that's probably okay.
Yeah, it's actually in characters. Yeah.
Okay, something more. I don't know. 500 more.
I would change it to text.
Just text. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
there should be a text field.
somewhere.
Yep, there is.
Oh, hello.
Oh, it doesn't like text. Okay, just do see if it takes varchar max. No, just put the words max in the parentheses.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Nah, just do 500 then. Varchar max in Microsoft SQL Server just lets it be as big as it wants to be.
Oh, okay. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. That's 500 characters is enough for a review. What does Amazon allow?
I don't know.
Let's find
Never
out.
thought about that.
Write a review. I just bought this. I didn't buy that. Amazon's another database I'd love to get my hands on just to see how it's structured. Let's see. Okay.
So if I just delete, okay, let's see, what is it telling me here? If I just delete book author ID and book author.
Yep.
That should be good, right?
Yep.
Okay. That's a lot of authors.
Yeah, just make sure that AD column's there and you're good.
Okay, that should be good. And then how it's supposed to give me a code for that, right?
If you go to tools, I lied, go to database, go to forward engineer, click next, click next, click next. And there,
Oh, there. Okay. Nice.
click save to file. And then use that to create on your end, and then you send me that when you're done too.
Okay.
Yep.
And then the next step, I suppose, would be inserting data and making.
I would make and write the test cases first,
And then
and
the
then
data to
input
support
the data.
those. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. File name. Already have bookstore. We'll just go.
Well, you're saving that this is being saved as a script file, so keep in mind .sql. So the other one was .wmb, MWB. So you can save it as .sql. It could be the same name.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
That's fine.
There. Okay, there we go.
Yep.
That should save in the same file, it looked like.
Yep.
As everything else. So then cancel.
Yep.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah, well, that's.
It looks much better from last time. Yeah, you hit all the things I told you to fix. Good
Okay,
stuff.
good.
And Davis, hopefully we'll see yours next week.
Here's the button. Stop share. There we go.
Yeah, I hope to have it finished for next week.
Cool. Cool. Now, Emery, you had questions.
I feel like I have way too many to even show up tonight. My first question just off the top of my head is how in the world can you make tests for data that doesn't exist and know that they're working?
How can you make tests for data that doesn't exist and know that they're working?
This pauses.
You mean in the case of the test case? So
Yeah.
you just kind of look at your database and kind of think of how you'd want to do it. And then you got to if you put the data and you run the query and it comes back with 0 results, technically it worked. Because you didn't get an error saying it blowed up on you.
But I feel like you'd have to know exactly what that would return. Because if it would send me, or if it would result in like different numbers than I would be expecting, I'd be like, okay, I didn't write that correctly.
Well, you know, Kate, can you share your idea again for a second?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you want to share yours, Emery?
Oh, sorry. Nope. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, Kate, I just want to talk about how to write queries off of with that data in it. So we're looking at this, right? So we can write looking at this, I say, okay, I have here, I have a sales I'm re-looking at the sales table here. The sales table needs some work, but let's worry about that later. I'll email you about it, I think. So I'm gonna say like, how many book reviews have 5 stars? And I can do that, right? And I can say like, how many horror novels have been sold in the last 6 months? How many different series of books do I which series of books have the most number of books in them? And so these are all queries I can so when I have the test cases, then I can say, okay, I need to put data in my tables to make this happen. Right? So I know if I said like how many book reviews have 5 stars, I need to go and make sure I have at least one review that has 5 stars in it. Okay. So
Okay.
it's you're really looking at this at an abstract. When you're making test cases on a database, you're just saying like, what would someone, I'm making this database that does this. What would someone be looking for? You know, I can say what author has the what books have sold by what author the most,
So I was
right?
thinking more of like the joining, like when you're trying to see multiple tables into a view or whatever.
Hmm. So like if I did like, how many books have been sold by this author? I know I'm gonna have to join author, book authors, book in the sales table. So I know that those four are gonna be there. How many customers with the last name Williams have bought a book that is in the science fiction genre? So I know I got customers, sales, um, going into sales, to book author, to book, to series, to genre. So I'm gonna go through like this loop here, right? How many horror novels have 3 stars and were bought in the month of October? So that's going to be these tables here, right?
So I have clauses or tests or whatever they're called that
Test
are
cases.
sending no errors. So I feel like I'm doing it right, but if I
Mhm.
had data in it and it was giving me the wrong number, then that's when I would be worried. That's why I want like the
Well,
data.
whatever date, we really for the purpose of this experiment, as long as data is returned, the right number, say the right number, it's going to be, that's, what's the word I'm looking for? There is no right number to return. It's whatever, as long as the data comes back and it makes sense. Like what's your database on?
Mine's the landscaping one.
Landscaping. So like okay, so like if I had, how many customers' houses did I put Gerber daisies in? Right? So if
Mhm.
you have 3 houses that have Gerber daisies, when you run the query, that should be the answer. It's because what you put in there. So if you put 3 houses, it's not coming up, if it's coming up like 17, then there's something wrong with your query.
Yeah.
But it's what it's what it is. So this is you're manipulating this to be exactly what you want it to be. So you should be able to make sure the code is the results are right the exact way back. So
Okay.
yeah. And really don't overthink it. I mean, honestly, the way I grade this sometimes is I don't necessarily look to see if the data is right. I look to see that if something came back. If it looks completely ridiculous, if it's like, it says like 87,000 houses have Gerber days, I'm like, I'm not sure that that's right. But if it says 5, I probably won't dig too deep into it.
Okay.
My main concern is row queries that don't throw errors and return results.
Kate, is it okay if I ask you to click on the layers tab
Oh,
Sure.
on the
There.
left? Yeah, so if you have those drop down arrows right there, it shows different layers.
Okay. You want to see any of these specifically?
Just if there's like multiple ones.
well, those are the foreign keys. The layers are the foreign keys.
Should there only be like one foreign key max at this point?
It depends on how the tables are. Like his book author has 3.
I'm having a hard time inserting data because it says like there's constraints, so I can't.
Okay, so that's so here. Okay, so like that's a very good point. So looking at this diagram, what are the first tables that you would put data in on?
Without constraints first.
Right. So you go from the outside in for tables that have no other foreign key connections. So author, genre, series,
Custom. Okay.
book, and customer have no foreign key. All the foreign keys lead away from them. Okay. This leads out, this leads out, that leads out, this leads out. So if you tried to put into like book has reviews, you're going to get all sorts of errors because this table depends on everything else. So you're probably starting with the tables that have foreign keys attached to them. So in this case, like I said, in this case, customer, author, book, genre, and series are the one you start with. And then you could do series has book, and then you could do, okay, so actually take it back. So you can't start with book yet. It's genre, series, customer, and author. You can't start with, and then you do book. Because genre foreign keys into book. So if it's not in genre, it can't be in book.
And you would
Okay.
probably need book to do series,
Yep,
right?
yep.
As book.
Yep. So you do series, customer, author, and then you do genre, and then you would do book, and then you could series as book, and then book author, and then you could do sales, and then you could do reviews, and then you could do book has reviews. So you just have to go where the foreign keys are. Your other option is, in all honesty, is to kill all the foreign keys, put your data in, and then reestablish your foreign keys. But that gets complicated.
What would the insert statement look like when you're trying to connect the different tables to each other with the keys?
You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't insert it. It'd just be insert into series via values, insert into author value. When you're inserting, you're not inserting to multiple tables, you're inserting to one table. When you select from multiple tables.
So I'm not trying to connect the data between the different tables?
Not on the insert, no.
Wait. Okay.
So when you
Okay.
insert data into a table, so what connects the tables are your foreign keys. That connects the data. Okay. So what happens is you put into authors first, right? And then you have this book author table. So you cannot put an author ID into the book authors table that's not in the authors table. Okay. So let's do like 1 Sanderson Brandon, 2 King Stephen, 3 just do those 1, 2 right here. So you have 2 authors in here, right? So when you input something to book authors, if you try to do like ID 1, book 1, author 6, and there is no author 6 here, it's going to fail. Okay, so it has to be here. So that's how the data gets joined. The actual insert statements don't do that. It's the constraints that you put on the tables that do the joining of the table. So, but when you put the information to book author, you have to put the ID here. You have to put 1, 2, whatever the author ID is. You're gonna do like this will look like 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, right? But it has nothing to do with the insert statement from here. It's 2 separate insert statements. You can't make one right. You can't write one insert statement to hit all 3 tables. They haven't done that yet. Does that make sense to you now? Were you trying to do that? Were you trying to insert into all the tables at once? Yeah, sorry. I thought I had, when I talked about insert statements back in week 3 or 4, I thought I'd made that clear. You insert into one table at a time. Is it making a lot more sense now? Okay, good. The layers here, all these are, they're just showing the foreign keys and the constraints that are on here underneath it. And that's all, you can all see this here, these red keys that are here, those are your constraints. That's what's going to show. If you look under book has reviews, you're going to see those 4 things there because those are all foreign keys. That's what the layers are about. So when you insert into your tables, you know, again, anything on the outside that has no foreign keys into it, author, customer, genre, series, put them there, and then you start putting into tables that are dependent on those tables. So if I were inserting to, I do author, I do customers, I do genre, series, and then I would do book. Then I could do book has series as book. I can do book has author. I can do sale. I can do sales since I got a customer in there, and I can do all these, the rest of them.
Yeah, you would have to work your way around this way, wouldn't you? Because book has reviews relies apparently on customer.
Yep. And you think of it as a workflow, like for a fully functioning application. Let's say you own the bookstore and you got a new shipment of books in, right? And it was a brand new author. So you'd have on your website, on your application screen, you'd have, you know, an inventory system where it would say like add new author, and then this screen would pop up and you'd have like name and all the vital information about author, and you hit submit and it would put that author in there, right? Because when you go to the insert book table, right, you're gonna have a drop down list, and that drop down list is gonna have the name of all the authors. And if you haven't inserted that author yet, that in the authors table, it's not going to be in that screen that shows you all the authors. Is this making sense, Emery? Are we doing okay?
Yeah, my face, I'm just tired.
Oh,
That's
I'm
what
with you.
I'm saying.
Yeah. My day starts at 4 a.m. with seminary, so I've discovered this drink called Celsius. It's a wonderful drink.
I think I just have to practice doing it on mine to make your words make sense to my table.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
Dan's.
Yeah, and
How
like
many
and
tables?
was that
How many tables?
between 7 and 10? Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna weed through some of mine tonight to make it
Okay.
easier.
Yeah, if you we were talking, Kate was talking before, like the way he's got it set up here, the only one he could really get if he wanted to get rid of stuff, he could get rid of genre, and he could get rid of these series, these three tables here can be removed. These are kind of like the appendix and the spleen of his diagram.
Yeah. Initially,
Okay.
I had a table here that just had like different stats almost about
Yeah.
the book. And then I was like, well, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Or actually, you told me that doesn't work. Series his book. So
Yeah.
I'll see what I'll do here, but it's probably
Yeah.
not too complicated.
No, it's not. It's just adding more of his data. So, but if you wanted to trim down to 7, those would be the 3 that could go.
Yeah.
Yeah, because because you've got sales here. So let's talk about sales here real quick. So sales, number sold, price. Okay, so this gets interesting.
Guess maybe.
Okay. So book author would absolutely have to. So you're actually going to need another table to do this
Oh, okay.
because of a couple of reasons. You're not tracking each individual. So one sale might have the same book multiple times. In stock for sale. Actually, what I would do if I were you, I would get rid of the sales table
Okay.
and don't mess with that right now, and keep everything else, because you can live without the sales table.
Okay.
And this is about
customer will just attach to reviews.
Yeah, just do that, because that's going to overcomplicate things for you at this point. So I would just get rid of that, because that actually should be 4 more tables. You need a sales
Okay.
table, an order table, you need a payment table. Yeah, there's a bunch of others. Just that's there you go. That's your perfect database.
Okay. Thanks for that warning. That
Yeah,
would have been
yeah.
complicated. Four
Yeah.
more tables.
Yeah, I just looked. I hadn't really looked at the sales table, and then when I looked at it, when you brought it back up so we talked with Emery, I'm like, oh wait a second, that sales table is not going to work. Yeah, the sales table, you need a sales table, you need an orders table, you need a payment table, and there's a shipping table. There's a whole other thing. Yeah, it gets really complicated. Like I said, like you add one table and it actually ends up being like 6 because of what you have to do to get the data around it. You know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, this works better, and then you don't over the sales table.
By the way, it's probably written somewhere, but how many test cases?
5 to 7.
5 to 7. Okay.
Yeah.
It's easy to remember.
Yep.
So what? I've
Same
got
on
9
tables.
tables here now. That's pretty reasonable. I'm willing to bet.
Yeah.
Because you can insert multiple rows at the same time, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can do insert and then just values.
Yeah. Okay.
If you go back to week 6, 5. Yeah, I have the insert statements how to write those.
Yeah. I'll probably use that in YouTube. So
Is there a way to to do like some kind of for loop to add just a bunch of random dates?
Random dates.
Yeah.
If you look back, okay, you'd have to Google the code. Random dates. You could. You have to Google for some code. I'm sure there's code to do it. I don't know it offhand.
Mm.
But yeah, there's way to do random things. You can just like Google like generate random date in MySQL query, and they'll show you to do it. But when you're probably not. I mean, if you're inserting more than 4 or 5 lines of data per table, I'd be surprised. You really should only probably need that. So it's pretty easy just to make up five quick dates. It's not it's not like you're gonna have constraints on it. Like, well, I'm sorry, you can't use 111 because that's not a date. It actually is a date, you know. So 111, 222, 333. You probably throw zeros in there. But yeah. But I mean, if you ever want a piece of code, just Google it. Someone's already done it. Don't reinvent the wheel, as they say.
Yes.
I've been told that many times in my career. And then I went and did it anyway. Because you can always make a better wheel. Any other? Hey, I'm recording this, aren't I? Oh, I am recording. Good. I thought I stopped recording. All right. Any other questions? Emery, Kate, Davis, Talina?
Yeah, I had a question.
Sure.
So with like the quizzes and stuff,
Mhm.
I was wondering where I might be able to find. I haven't done as well as I'd hoped, and I'm just a little bit confused on some of the questions. So like, where would be the best place to look up, figure out the
Oh.
answer?
You reminded me that I need to go back in. I need to redo this at the beginning of the semester. They should show you the answers when they're done. After you've done your second try, it should show you the answers. And if it's not, I've got to go back in there and turn it on so it shows you the answer when you're done.
It's been showing me like if I got something correct or incorrect and what the right answer is.
Huh?
But I don't like know why it's the right answer.
Oh,
so it's like trying to figure out where to find that out.
In your book or in the book or in the if you go to the starting page for each lesson, there's a bunch of links in there, and the links will take you there. Like probably the easiest way is just to Google the question, and it'll tell you what it is, or just if there's something that really you don't understand, ping me and I'll explain to you why it's right or wrong, or I'll tell you that question is weird. I'll give you points for it. So.
All right.
But I'm glad you're seeing the answers. That way, that means I did remember at the beginning of the semester to turn all that stuff on. Because the question you see in your quiz is the same question you see in the final exam if you choose to take the final exam. And remember, if you don't remember this yet or not, the quizzes are open book and open notes and phone a friend and ask me on Wednesday the answer to a question. I'll tell you so you can answer on Thursday properly. So the quizzes are not monitored or watched in any way that you can't find answers everywhere.
All right.
Yeah. So like if you're taking the quiz and you can't figure it out, Google it and see if you can find the answer. And then it'll get the answer and then you get it right.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. I find that was very interesting about this class with the quizzes that it's basically at one point in time, one semester, the quizzes were group effort. Which was interesting because there were groups that just wouldn't get together. I think it's because the curriculum had been around so long, the answers were on Reddit. All the quizzes have been put in Reddit. So then they changed the curriculum. But yeah, it's there's no resource you can't use in taking a quiz or the final exam. Because I think with the final exam you get 2 chances.
All
And
right.
it's open book and open notes and open friend and open everything.
I don't think I've taken all 2 chances on all the quizzes yet. Some of them
Yeah.
are weird and really weird.
They are. Some of them have very, very strange wordings, like people had like not slept for 48 hours and then wrote quiz questions.
Yeah, that's a very good description.
Yeah. And I try to go and catch them beforehand, like the week 6 with all the VI editor questions that I went in there and deleted before most of y'all saw them. But unfortunately, I can't get to them all. they do ask some really, really, really strangely worded questions. And they've yet, I've been asking to go fix them, but they won't let me, so.
You know, one thing that I've noticed that is kind of irritating about some of the things is in the you go read the book, right? And you read the stuff that they have in there, and then they have you look at those slides.
Yeah.
So the slides, the titles in the slides often overlap some of the text.
Oh, really? Oh,
And even some like images in the slides overlap stuff. It's pretty strange. I'm like, there should like in theory there should be a like a quality control, like a quality check
mhm.
going through these before they get sent out into the curriculum.
I think
That in theory is what's
Yeah.
supposed to happen, yeah.
Yeah, yes.
I think
Theoretically.
you can download them or whatever, and I just opened them in PowerPoint and it seemed to work.
Yeah.
Fix that problem.
That could be it too. It has like a file preview thing you can do,
Yeah.
but I've never downloaded them. I don't download unless I have to.
When I first took this course, well, when I first taught this course, I went through it like a student before anyone else got through because it was a new course. And I pretty much ignored the book and the slides and just looked at the links because I found that the majority of the answers came from the links. And they were easier to follow because they're written by someone on the internet who understood formatting that was understandable. The book was my second choice, and the slides were my like fourth choice. My third choice was Google. So, but that's a true good point that Tillian brings up, is that it's probably just a formatting thing when you're looking in your browser window as opposed to when you have it open in PowerPoint on your desktop. So, all right, any other questions? Alrighty. Like I said, starting next week, I will still have these as of next week, but I will not be recording them because it's just going to be anyway. I'll just be online to field questions about projects. Because I'm finding a lot of people have time. We all got stuff during the day and we can't make the time. So this is an hour I've dedicated to this. So I'll just go ahead and be here for that hour. But I'm not. This will be the last recording that I put out. Because I won't be talking about core stuff because next 3 weeks. We looked at it real quick. There's some queries that need to be written, but nothing that I need to go over and explain. So yeah, so I'll be online 9:30 next week. No, I will not. Next week I won't be online because next week's spring break, and I will be doing other things. Week after that, so not week 11, but 12 and 13 I'll be online. But I will, if you need me next week, just I'll still be working my regular job in the nights. I'm doing stuff with my kids and family. Just ping me and I'll just fire up the Zoom and send you the link and we can just talk whenever you're free during the day, because 9 to 5 Eastern time I'm at my day job and I'm over here doing this and I could do this really quick to talk to you guys. So I got a swivel chair. It works really great. All right. Okay, friends. Have a great week. I will see you next week.
See ya. Are you putting you're putting up that recording?
Yes, this recording is going to go up in tomorrow rather.
Okay, good.
Bye.
All right.